What's going on, guys? I'm just sitting here drawing, and I thought I'd turn my camera on. I turned it on a little too late, unfortunately. I thought it'd be kind of cool to show you guys the opening steps behind how I develop my characters, but I wasn't even thinking about it when I started drawing this piece. So like I will do one from scratch for y'all, just so y'all have kind of an understanding of how I truly start a piece. But yeah, we're in the early stages of doing Tom, the Ferryman of Ogmenve, which is, by the way, my favorite character I have ever written. Across all of my novels, across all of my books, this is my favorite character. Hopefully you will see why when you read my first book, once I publish it, but this is such a cool character, and I love, working on him. And this isn't by any means my first render of the character, but this is going to be the final one that goes into the novel itself, and so that's what I'm working on. And I thought it'd be interesting to kind of go through my process of specifically how I start a face. On the channel earlier I was doing a setting, and now we're doing a face, which is my bread and butter as an artist. I've been focused on portraits for probably the past half decade now. That's what I've really been focused on, and there's so much that goes into that I thought I'd talk about it. So we're doing a face right now, and you can see from scale, this is a small scale. I'm working on a smaller scale because this is going to be printed into a novel, which means that I need to an extent, this is going to be shrunken down even from what it is now, so I need to kind of understand the different aspects of the face that I want to exaggerate as an artist so that it renders well when it's a scan into a novel. And so yeah, working at this scale is very, very difficult with ballpoint pen. Just the lines are so unforgiving, so is the hatching. So making these hatches as close as possible is very, very difficult to do. But that is the scale that I've been working on for my faces for these novels for a little bit now. So I've gotten better. I've had to scrap a few in this pursuit, but after kind of learning how I needed to do it, it came pretty seamlessly. So we're doing Tom right now. We're working on the jawline, just kind of softening it up. One of the biggest things that I really can't recommend enough is if you are going to start getting into drawing people, characters, or faces, you need to gain some level, to some level, a cursory understanding of human anatomy. It's extremely important when you're starting to render things, especially from your own imagination. This itself is not from my imagination. I am working from a source photo. Unfortunately, the source photo that I'm using is on my phone, so I can't show it to you because it's what I'm recording with. But I am working on a source photo for this, and I have for all of the characters, at least the final mock-ups of the characters that are going in my novel, just because I want to make sure that I get it, extremely correct. So typically what I'll do is, I will take a face that, of someone that I know that I think best embodies the character, and I'll get several angles of it so that I can appropriately render it the way that I would like to. And yeah, it's just a lot more consistent than my own imagination of a character. That's such a unique skill that I've gotten okay at, but I don't trust myself enough when I'm actually doing things for the novel itself. And yeah, so the way that I start each piece is I start with the eyes, just rough sketches to gain the face and figure out where everything is. That's a big part of drawing itself, is it's just proportions and understanding where everything is supposed to be. I kind of always envisioned Tom in this kind of duster, this old-timey duster that I'm gonna fantasy up, once I get to that part with the pen. He'll be holding his staff, old guy with a stick, fantasy trope that I can't get away from. And yeah, it's a super fun process. And all of these super rough lines, these are done in pencil, just again, so I understand where everything is. It's just me understanding, kind of just laying the foundation of this work, and then we get more technical as we get to these places and erase them. So again, I should have turned the camera on so that you guys understood like how I draw the face. It's all super super fine lines, and we just erase as we get there. This ear isn't exactly in the correct place, and I just know that looking at it. I'm gonna need to bring it in just because of the angle of the face. I'm gonna need to bring it in probably like a centimeter or two, which is fine because I've, I sketched it out. It's also just a little bit too big. It's fine because I've sketched it out and I know exactly, what I want to do with it. As far as like the technical aspect of shading goes, I am cross-hatching. That's kind of the way to go with a ballpoint pen. But a lot of people think like when you're getting into cross-hatching, they exaggerate the crosses and they go perpendicular, which isn't really something that I've found that you want to do. You want to make sure that the strokes all mimic the same direction, and by the way, so what I mean by that is like my strokes are generally going this way all throughout the piece. They will go this way, and then if I want them to counter, I'm not going to do it on the face. I'll do it with the clothing. You can use your cross-hatching to kind of separate the softer areas from each other. And when I'm talking about like cross-hatching, I need a freaking blank piece of paper. We're going to use this. This is just kind of, no, I might use this later. Sorry, I've got pieces of paper literally just all over. We'll use this right here. Not very quality paper, but we're going to use it. So when we're talking about cross-hatching, I don't have my camera to where you can actually see my strokes, so that's really good. We're moving this way, lines in the same direction. Now, you can either choose to, I'm going to try and make it to where you guys can see the pencil or the pen. When we're talking about cross-hatching, I don't really go for an angle that's anything greater than this right here in respect to my original direction. So you're definitely looking at like less than a 45-degree angle. Sometimes they are like truly just at a 10-degree angle. Less than that, you're just going the exact same direction. Because what happens when you are truly doing something at 90 degrees, you are doing perpendicular angles, is it's harder to kind of soften and create a gradient. Again, this is just my technique. I certainly didn't invent it. This is just the way that I do it. But perpendicular lines with cross-hatching, it works better if you're using like a micron pen, which, I will from time to time. But like when you're looking for, gradients, your like ballpoint pen is the way to go. If ever I could get like a video sponsored by Bic Pen, that's what I'm going to do. Bic Pen is the greatest company that's ever existed. But anyway, so that's just a little bit of my, drawing a face. Again, this is a super fun character. It's just, this is the early stages of me drawing this character. I'll keep you guys up to date. I finished my Eathling that I was showing you guys in the last video, and yeah. Maybe I'll talk about him like as a character more. Probably not this one. I really want you guys to read him in my novel to gain a full understanding of him. But yeah, thanks guys.